A few years ago, California Democrats went on a victory tour, boasting about their $98 billion surplus. They were almost $100 billion ahead. Fast forward to today, the Golden State is
they
now
stole the money from
broke than ever.
taxpayers.
$27 billion in debt. So how does one state lose more than $120 billion in a couple of years? Well, it's actually easier than you think. Let's start with the homeless crisis. An audit from April revealed that California lost track of $24 billion that they had spent to end homelessness.
What's the money been spent on?
LICH is working on finalizing its HAP annual report and hope to have that published in short order.
Why is it taking 3 years to get data? The system was implemented in 2021.
So HJS began in 2021. It wasn't fully implemented until 2022. And so
Okay, that's
It doesn't matter. You stole
Why is it taking so long?
taxpayer
You're
dollars.
the one that said you're urgent. I don't know. Maybe
This
my
is a
consideration
Democrat
different
Party,
from yours,
people.
so you
Wake
can't
up.
tell us
We're all going to be
At all?
broke and homeless if
How
it
many-
continues.
people we've helped.
That money had mysteriously vanished, and California has more homeless now than ever. $24 billion.
Yeah, they're walking through our borders.
According to the LA
get
Times,
free
the state's
housing and
partially
everything
constructed
else.
high-speed rail line is projected to run $100 billion over budget. They spent $500 million on a suicide net for the Golden State Bridge. And forget about all the taxpayer-funded sex changes for illegals. Those are probably starting to add up. So Gavin's over budget, and he needs to get the state back on track. So what's a lib governor to do?
Recall this
Cut from
bastard.
his $10 billion
Destroying our
budget? That would
freaking
be
state.
crazy.
We
Can't
gotta
do that.
move.
So he's got to cut money from
shit.
the cops. The State Department of Justice's budget is getting a 2% haircut.
Let me tell you what they did. They
$98
raised our
million
taxes
from
on our
trial court
homes
operations,
almost
$10 million
$200
from the
more.
Law Enforcement Division. $80 million
A
from
month.
the Department of
A month.
Corrections and Rehabilitation. He's going to empty the prisons as well. Gavin's cutting 4,600 beds across 13 state prisons. So for those following at home, more criminals on the street and less money to stop them from committing more crimes sounds like the California way. We better remember this when
They're
Gavin
setting
Newsom
it up
someday,
to have
maybe sooner rather
15-minute
than later,
cities chase
announces
everyone
his
out of
run for
California
president.
so they can run it.
American
when they
Majority
want,
founder
like a
Ned Ryan
communist
joins
state.
us now. Ned, I mean, this doesn't really surprise us, but he's going to spin it as success. How could he?
Well, that would be insane, but I guess it's Gavin Newsom, so what should we expect? But, you know, the real figure, Pete, is probably not $27 billion. Estimates are showing it's probably about $46 billion is the real deficit. And again, he's cutting about $200 million from law enforcement. Whereas 7 weeks ago, let's remember this, Pete, 7 weeks ago, Gavin Newsom swore up and down that he was going to spend $267 million to stop the smash and grab crime spree. Instead,
ain't stopping
he's cutting
shit.
almost $200 million, so I guess that's off. The irony in all of this, Pete, is this crime spree is a direct cause of the budget deficit that California is experiencing because businesses and individuals are leaving the state. They want law and order. They want a safe environment. I mean, this is very basic stuff. Maybe I should use really small words so the left can understand. You have to have a safe environment so businesses will be there, so individuals will be there. The more of those that you have, you'll have greater tax revenue for you to be able to fund those things. But Gavin Newsom doesn't seem to understand that. In fact, is really accelerating this vicious cycle by cutting law enforcement, continuing the crime spree to see more
You're
businesses
evil like
and
your
individuals
aunt.
flee the state.
This evil family.
You mentioned it could be 47 billion, it could be 27. You know, what's give or take 10 to 20 billion. But in the minds of liberals, like when it comes to something like homelessness, I mean, they're just going to keep pumping and pumping and pumping. Right. And did they ever reflect and say we're not making the situation any better?
No, in many ways, Pete, if we're being honest, they're children who are detached from reality. I mean, in this whole proposal where he's cutting $200 million from law enforcement, God forbid, as you mentioned, he should cut climate change funding. He actually added $1.7 billion towards equity and climate change causes. And I suppose the $400 million for electric buses are still there. The amazing part about this, he thinks he's running for president, Pete. He shouldn't even be running for president of the local PTO.
No way. Well, I mean, that money for DEI. I mean,
Get
that's
him
part of the
out.
sacrifice they
Get
must put
him
on the altar
out.
no matter what. It's
Governor
religion.
Gruesome.
Thank you very much. Great stuff. Thanks, Pete.